Tonight, the conversation is how to be a social media photo ninja as a 30-something, actually mid-30-something. Shannon, I will always be with you making big boom boom. Thank you, Shannon. My guest tonight is Cassandra Thompson. Actually, I was with her yesterday. We kind of snuck in to Simonson Salon Spa in Plymouth and really got on the back end of her taking care of doing a photo shoot, and she did an extraordinary job. I wanted her to come back tonight because I think she's unique, gang, from all the other guests that we've had, in so much that single mom, 30-something, and she's in the social media game big time. She jumped in it 2 years ago, as you'll see from her story. She was about 33. A lot unlike, the 20, 21, 22, 23. She's got 15, 16 years under her belt, and she took this in. So I think she's got some wisdom. So let me qualify her real closely. She's been, like I said, she's Simonson Salon and Spa, and I'm going to get her to talk tonight about the Unicorn Tribe, because it's an online Instagrammers that are really hairdressers. They're very creative artists. They're very, very social, and they really honor artistic integrity. So I want you to say, I want her to tell you their story as well. Scotty, good to see you. Hello from Summit Salon Academy in Portland. Good to see you, Scott. Thanks for coming to make big boom boom. Now, she's got the stats like everybody else. 35, master stylist. She's probably going to knock down about 80 grand this year. A typical week, $2,300 without an associate. Runs a $115 average ticket at about $150 an hour taken, and she's doing all this stuff working 30 hours a week. So Keith Huffstetter, this is somebody, I'm telling you what, man, she's making big boom boom. Ooh, Unicorn Tribe, Elizabeth. Yeah, you want to pay real close attention to what she tells you about Unicorn Tribe. I think Unicorn Tribe has your name all over it. So if you hang out with her, you'll find she's in social media big time. She's like an Instagrammer on steroids. She's got an iPhone 7 Plus, which means she is serious about social. Does about 20 guests a week. She's taken 10 out of the 20 guests. She's probably photographing 10 of them. 5 pictures per, do the math. That's like 50 pics a week. She posts about 5 times. If you look at her Instagram page, which is cass.did.my.hair, you'll find that, she's probably got a couple hundred or so followers. So typical ninja. But what makes her unique is she's 35. And she's in the game. She's not 20. She's not 22. She's not 20. She's 35, and she's every bit in the game as I've ever seen anybody. That's why I wanted her on tonight. So I'm going to get her talking real quickly about her story, give you a context, and I'm going to see if I can get her to share with us, like, how's that work for somebody that's 30-something? Because a lot of 30-somethings watching, as well as, 40-somethings and 50-somethings. And I think she's a vision of what's possible. So without any further screwing around, let's go find Cassandra and see if she'll talk to us. There she is. Give it up. Good to see you, Cassie.
Hi.
Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And we've been... I was talking to you for a few minutes before the show. And did you hear me bragging on you before I came and got you?
I could hear my family watching this video. They're in the other room watching right now.
Wonderful. So and I met your lovely mother and your daughter, and you just got a heck of a clan. Thanks for hanging out with us for a few minutes. Listen, get us going right away and really talk about, in a nutshell, how'd you decide to be a hairdresser and get into the business, because you've been in it for 16 years?
Well, I kind of always wanted to be a hairdresser. It's something I knew that I wanted to do, more so in my high school years when it comes time to really decide what you want to do with your life. And there was something about it that I just knew that that was what I wanted to do. I like taking care of people. I like making people feel good, and I happen to enjoy doing hair. You can ask any number of my high school friends, and you'll tell them I saved them from a lot of prom disasters back in the day. So it just is something that I felt like was always something I wanted to do.
Yeah, and like you and I, what the coincidences there is, I really got to know you from your work on Instagram, and then as we kind of reconnected, you and I had a relationship in another era of your life at City Looks, probably 10 plus years ago, before you were
Yeah.
with Simonson. So it's just really good to like catch up with you because you have changed
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted you to really talk a little bit about is what happened to you when you went from City Looks to Simonson's, because that culture is different there, and you had a little bit that you wanted to say about that before we get into social.
Well, I just knew that what I was looking for was a rich education that would be available to me and a larger salon environment. And I found that in Simonson's. You know, I fell in love with their educational program right from the start. It challenged me and made me a much more well-rounded stylist. And I found that in becoming part of the education team as well, it's made me even elevate myself even more to learn from my peers and to be able to take what I know and teach them as well.
Yeah, I got a sense from listening to you that it took you up quite a few notches in all of your skill sets, but it really made a difference in your life financially. Like you were saying to me at Simonson's, you're doing so much better financially than you were in your previous.
Yeah, definitely. And it comes from, I think, a motivated group of or a motivated team that you work with, people that are all kind of in the same boat with you, that want to be successful, and consider it a career and not just a job.
So in a nutshell, like now that you're at a place where your earnings are really what you deserve to make, how has that changed your personal life and your relationship with your daughter and your family? What do you have now that you didn't have before that makes your life even better?
Well, I mean, having the means to do things that I never thought I could do, taking vacations and being able to plan for that kind of stuff, is something that back when I was just starting out, I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to make enough money to survive even, you know, and now I can plan for vacations and feel comfortable that I can take some time off and I'm still going to be all right. You know, just little things like that, just feeling like you're in a good place.
All right, now I want to pivot because I said to the group before I brought you on is that one of the things that I think makes you really unique, and frankly, why I decided to have you as a guest on the show, is because you're well into 30-something. You got 16, 17 years behind the chair. You are in the game big time with Instagram and posting and documenting and branding yourself. And you are really, in my opinion, more the exception than the rule in your genre. Let's just call it Gen X, right? And so I had some questions I wanted to ask you about that. Like, you've been behind the chair 16, 17 years. When did you really start getting interested in making social media a part of your world?
Well, when I first knew about Instagram, I didn't know that it was a platform for stylists at all. I mean, even when I first got an iPhone and started playing around with it, I didn't really know a lot about it until I started looking more into hair and people started bringing in pictures of hair, Pinterest, and then Instagram and all of this. I'm thinking, well, I'm doing hair that I'm pretty proud of. Why can't I take pictures of it and share it too?
All right, hold on, because that's key. So I don't want to put words in your mouth. So you're saying to me, I think before the interview, you said this was about a couple of years ago or so. This was not like 5 years ago. We're talking a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started noticing more hair trends on Instagram and that sort of thing, and I thought, well, I want to get in on that too. And then upon my involvement with the Unicorn Tribe, that kind of pushed it even further because there's so much good hair out there. I'm like, well, I want to do that too.
Right. And then you said you noted some of your clients were coming in, pulling out their mobile, going to Pinterest, going to Instagram. So something was moving in you. You got curious, and as you started kind of just like navigating Instagram, you're back to going, I can do that too. And that's kind of was your introduction to being a student of social media.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, just seeing that you can be a resource for somebody to think, oh, the work that you're doing is something that I want to wear too. I mean, like very recently I had a client come in a new guest to me, and she brought in a picture of my own work, and I was like, that was like a huge moment for me, because that was the first time that had ever happened. But to have somebody see something that I had done and immediately come back and say, do that to my hair too, is like pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and now you're right. I mean, once upon a time, like in the good old days, like a year ago, they pull out their mobile and they're looking at pictures on Pinterest, and now they're coming in, pulling out their mobile, going to your page, showing you something that they saw on your page that compelled them to come in, and having conversations about, hey, can you do on me what I saw you do on that page? And that's blowing your mind.
Yeah, it's cool because as stylists, many stylists, we're always practicing to be better at what we do, and always trying to perfect the skills and all these things that are trending and all these new, techniques that come through and everything. So when you execute something and it comes out really nicely, to have it come back to you and have somebody want to have it replicated it's just like very like satisfying to have that happen.
I just, something just came up in me, and I want to say it. I hope I don't embarrass you or other people, but a week or so ago, you were a guest of mine when I did the American Salon social media 45 minutes. You remember that? And,
Yep.
and we had a handful of people. We kind of snuck in the salon, and we watched a handful of people do a photo shoot. And you were one of those people. And it was a quick drive-by. I mean, the whole darn thing probably took a minute, 2 minutes. And they all did an extraordinary job. But as I kind of snuck into your world, I just picked up this feeling that there's a flow coming through you, that the combination of your art, your photography, and just how you were moving, that it was almost like I knew that you're in a place now that I think give a lot of people that are just in it some vision. And I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you. That's so, I love that. That makes me really happy.
Okay, and I stopped lying about 20 years ago because I'm too old to remember what I'm saying. So I really mean that, and I want our guests to know that. Now, the other thing I want to get you talking about is this phenomenon that we're all seeing on social, specifically Instagram, the unicorn tribe. And I know you're a member of that community. In a nutshell, tell our viewers what that is and how you got interested, and how do you, now that you're there, what is it bringing to you an inspiration that you didn't have before?
Well, the idea behind the Unicorn Tribe as a whole is that it's a collaborative group or collective, so to speak. And we like to think of it as more of an artistic collective, where those of us that are, and it's not people that are just in hair. There's graphic artists, illustrators, art of all types. Primarily it's hair, and I've found that over time, there's just this wealth of support that comes from being in this group. And that was kind of what drove me to elevate the type of pictures I was portraying of my work and the type of photographs I was taking and showing. Just because the quality of work in that collective is so massive that you can't help but want to strive to be as good as your fellow, stylists or artists are.
Right. Now, as I'm listening to you, and as we're all listening to you, I'm compelled to ask you this question, and it wasn't part of the interview, but I see that you're at a place with, documenting your work, whatever you want to call it, showcasing your work, for your photography, your placement, your branding yourself on Instagram. How much would you say that came from your inspirations and being a member of the Unicorn Tribe community? So how much does that juice you?
It's huge. To be a part of a group that their purpose, the reason they're in that group is to be supportive of their fellow stylists and to help elevate the level of skill that these artists are putting out there. It's just this wealth of knowledge and help and support and safety in this hair and art community that, I mean, you can't help but be inspired by those people. The work that comes out of there is just incredible.
Yeah, and I think if people that have heard of Unicorn Tribe, if they go to Instagram and just key that into their search bar, they'll go to those pages, and those are the pages that you hang out in, and some of the work that you do are showing up on Unicorn Tribe page. And there's times where you're having, like you met Jamae, who is a ninja that hangs out with, yeah, and all of a sudden you guys are like meeting each other and talking, and that's what got me a lot more curious about Unicorn Tribe. And whatever it is, I knew about it, I know more about it, but I'm really interested in it because I just have this hunch that it really is a source of inspiration for people like yourself that really see what you do as an art form.
Yes. 100%. That I couldn't say it better myself.
All right. Well, listen, I've got a couple more minutes with you that I want to ask you. Two more questions. One is, so what's the future hold for you? Where do you go from here? What's next for Cassandra?
Well, I'm going to just keep trying to better myself, and hopefully my guests will see that my skills are getting better, and I've been really enjoying them letting me take pictures as part of their experience. And I would encourage those that are a little nervous or a little like wondering about social media to just give it a try, because your guests will enjoy it, and sometimes kind of almost expect that you're going to feature them or whatever it might be.
Right. So you really got to the next question for me, and that is, you're at a place at 35 that a lot of people that are 35 and then some want to be at, but they're terrified. They're just, it was something that was virtually non-existent to them as few as a couple of years ago, and now it's like it's in our face, and we're waking up going, oh my God, not only is this a blip on the radar, but I'm behind the 8 ball. I got to catch up, and this looks so daunting and overwhelming. Is there, in a nutshell, something you might say to that community that might give them a sense of hope and inspiration?
Well, like I was saying, you have to just give it a try. I mean, try photographing your work. Photograph something that you're really proud of or something that you're really jazzed about, and just put it out there. I mean, social media is super intimidating, and it's kind of confusing and all of that, of course. But you figure it out as you go, and as you continue to put yourself out there, you'll enjoy it more, and you'll get better, and your skills will increase. I mean, it just comes with, it's like, a habit. How long does it take to create a habit?
Right,
That's what just got to keep going.
Cool. Well, listen, I'm out of time. I'd love to talk to you a whole bunch more. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask you if you'll come back where we can, because I have a feeling that this conversation is just warming up for you and I and us and a lot of people. You're now part of a secret group on Facebook I have going called Ninjas, and you're with that community as well as Unicorn. So we'll be seeing a lot more, and I'm hoping that I'll have an opportunity to get close to Simonson. So keep up the good work. And let's give it up one more time for Miss Cassandra Thompson. Thank you, my friend. See you later.
All right. Bye.
All right. Wonderful. Give it up for one more time, gang. All right. So you listen. You got the last word on it, and I just want you to really take to heart what she's saying. I mean, look, 35 years old. 10, 15 years, beyond what a lot of people, a millennial, they come in. They were doing this before they went to beauty school, for crying out loud. They were screwing around with mobile devices and apps and photography and social media. They came and they learned, painted some hair, and the rest is history. But here's somebody that has been in it for 17 years, and 2 years ago, 15 years in, she decides that she's going to, I want to take this up. I'm seeing enough of my clients come in, and we're having conversations. They're pulling out their mobile, and we're talking on a Pinterest page. And now today, after she's been in the game, because you had to unlearn some things that frankly worked really well a few years ago but aren't working anymore, and then learn some new stuff. She's the vision of what's possible, and I want, especially my friends that are 30, 40, 50 somethings, I think now is the time. I don't think this is going away, and a lot of the conversations I'm having about this, frankly, make some of my friends that are, later on in the genres of Gen X and Boomers a little bit nervous. Michael, go back to talking about what you were talking about before, and how come you're talking so much about social media? Because I believe in my soul that this is it. And if we don't learn this and control it, we're going to be dragged by it. So take this to heart. Now, enough said. I want to tell you about next week's program because it's going to be different than the programs in time gone past. There's a special request. Some of you have been asking, can you just devote a Facebook Live to you just teaching us? We want to know your latest, greatest, and I've been hanging around with some really cool Summit coaches. I want to show you some new things on goal setting, some new things on planning. I want to show you some new things on consultation. So we're going to get that conversation going next Thursday night. I'll have an opportunity to do some of, refinements on some of my other pages during the week. So that's there for you as well. Now, if you're new to us, this is your first time hanging out with us, hang out on the Summit Michael Cole OTT page. That's the page that we're doing Facebook Live right now. My Instagram handle is Michael Cole BGTD, as in Boom Goes to Dynamite. I blog, I post, I do a lot of Facebook Lives. So that would be where you could hang out as well. The other thing I want to point you to is live on SummitSalon.com. Especially if you're a salon owner that you're not in the Summit game yet. I think Summit is the next era in your life. You can navigate that.com, SummitSalon.com, and really get a sense as to what 3,000 salons that are plugged into us, and frankly, our community now is about 50,000 service providers, to see what we're doing. I think it's some interesting work. While you're there, if you slash products, you'll get into our product store, and next week I'm going to be actually doing a class on new ways of using our planner. There's a textbook. There's a new app that you can download. There's even some calculators that we're putting on some secret pages. So we got a lot going on in SummitSalon.com. You can always go to SummitSalon.com, hit a /MC Live, and see all of the previous episodes that have not only been recorded, but edited, where we edit out the social and get to the educational piece. So I really hope that you'll take advantage of that. I always love to end with gratitude. I want to thank my partners at Summit Salon Business Center, because they continue to support these conversations to get them to the world on Facebook Live. And then, of course, our friends at L'Oreal Professional Product Division. We got Baxter, Carita, Kerastas, L'Oreal Professional, Mazzani, Purology, Decolore, Essie, L'Oreal, Matrix, Redken, and Shoe. These are the companies that really financially support us, and because of that support, we're allowed to do stuff like this. So thank you, L'Oreal PPD, and of course our friends Salon Centric, State Beauty Supply, and RDA ProMart. And of course, all of you that continue to hang out on the page, you are nothing short of freaking, awesome to make big boom boom. So I will say goodnight to you now, and look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll do a couple more minutes of social.